गुड इवनिंग एवरीवन। आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है आज के थर्ड सेशन ऑफ द सेकंड पार्ट टू द दिल से सीरीज दैट वी लॉन्च्ड लास्ट वीकेंड। आई होप यू ऑल हैड अ गुड वीकेंड एंड अ गुड संडे, और आपको मौका मिला आज सुबह मेडिटेशन अटेंड करने का। I attended it and I felt obviously very nice through the day, and it's a good way to wrap up your weekend and start Mondays. कल काफी लॉन्ग कॉन्वर्सेशन रहा और दाजी ने काफी क्वेश्चंस के रिस्पॉन्सेज भी दिए। आज भी हम कोशिश करेंगे दैट वी टेक एज मेनी क्वेश्चंस एज पॉसिबल, बट मेरे लिए जो सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज थी जो कल दाजी ने एड्रेस की, वो ये था कि इफ यू आर रियली क्रेजी अबाउट आवर मेडिटेशन एंड आवर गोल, then we can achieve whatever we need to, including all the questions that we have. Those will also get answered in our practice if we are really crazy about our sadhana, and we'll also be able to take time out for it, which as you noticed, कल काफी क्वेश्चंस उसके बारे में थे कि मेरे पास टाइम नहीं है, मैं बहुत बिजी हूँ, या मैं मेडिटेशन नहीं कर पाती जब मैं बैठती हूँ। तो मैंने जो सुना काफी दाजी के रिस्पॉन्सेस से वो यही था कि we should have the right attitude and the urge and the madness for our sadhana, and we'll be able to achieve our goals and also have all our questions answered. So looking forward for Daaji to join us for us to kick this session off. I'm going to keep switching between Hindi and English because we do have people who've joined us from the US as well. So I'll keep doing that. And just like yesterday, please raise your hands when you have any questions. I'll also try and take some questions from the chat box, and we'll try and get to as many people as possible. I also just wanted to understand if anyone wants to share their experience in the last 2 days of their session. I see अंजना जी, आप जोधपुर से आपने अपना hand raise कर रखा है। मुझे पता है question के लिए है, मगर if you can also share your experience of the last 2 days when you've been attending these sessions. Can I ask the admin to unmute her, please, so that she can have a chat with us? Perfect.
Namaste, everyone.
Yes, namaste. Please tell us.
Their experience.
Okay. Anjana ji, your network is not great. So अगर आप अपना video off कर दें, तो hopefully we'll be able to hear you. Okay, we can't hear you very clearly. Yes, Akshayani, you had a question yesterday. I hope your network's better today. Okay, great. That's nice. Uma auntie, since you're here from the US and you have so many of your friends who joined us, would you like to say anything about the participants who are joining us today?
I would like to ask Venkatesh Garu and Dr. Mangala if they have any comments. They have been here for the past 2 days. Venkatesh Garu, can you please unmute and share anything that you feel like?
Namaste, Umaji. You caught us by surprise. We have been mostly in the background listening and learning. I think I shared very briefly with you. We are very early students of Umaji. We became Abhyasis in the late 90s with her, and for some years we practiced very regularly. Then it fell by the wayside, but we still practiced, and Umaji understood. And yesterday, after Daaji started his meditation, I had some very pleasant meditation experiences. And I've been a meditator, but not in a very rigorous way. But it's amazing that even when we do practice meditation, and like he said, and like Ms. Mishra was summarizing, when we do long for this sort of thing, things do happen, and it did happen. I had very nice experience yesterday. Throughout, early on in the meditation, it was mostly about focusing, but as Daaji mentioned, at the concluding part, and many of you I know have noticed these two colors start to appear, and then certain formations came about. But this is not what meditation is about. But anyhow, all that happened, and then I just have learned to ignore those things. And then I could see the void, which is where we all come from. And that is how I felt, that awareness. And it lasted for about a couple minutes. And then, of course, Daaji said, okay, now the meditations are over. So that's what I have to say. And if Mangala wants to say something, she can.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Like Venki said, we have been participating for a long time. I've been even more irregular. It's the, wanting to do it, but I don't make myself do it. And periodically I have to force myself to create time to do that. And sometimes I almost feel, ashamed that I'm not doing it. But, it goes in cycles. I go back and forth. And I'm hoping to improve myself someday.
She is very humble. I want to mention she is a neurologist, as Umaji knows.
Sure.
So she knows the process of what is going on. And that makes her efforts a little more difficult.
No, thank you so much for sharing that experience, Manglaji. I can tell you, there are many of us who are on the same boat. Certainly I am, where, you tend to get off the discipline, and then, you have somebody like a trainer, like in your case, Uma auntie, who you can sort of knock on her door and say, I'm falling off. Can you help me? Like a buddy that you have who can keep you disciplined and on track. So that's great. And thank you so much, both of you, for sharing your experience about how you felt yesterday. And I hope, like Daaji has been saying, we can get to meet you all in person as well at some point in Kanha when the world normalizes. So we'll really look forward to doing that.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Umanti, you were taken another name, right? There's another.
Yeah, I was wondering if Henry, would you like to share anything with the group? You can unmute and.
Namaste. Good morning. And Debbie and I have started this process of meditation. It's been about 4 years, and it has been a very good experience for both of us. It has dramatically changed our lives, and it has been very beneficial for the both of us, that to where we become more loving and more caring for not only for one another, but as well as for our family and for the world. And we're very, very grateful that we've been able to have this experience and to know Uma and experience everything at the ashram. And we thank you for that.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience. Daaji has been saying this repeatedly about love and feeling connected with humanity at large, not just your friends and family. And you're sort of almost highlighting that at a time when the world is at war and we don't know what's going to happen next. So this is pretty significant considering the turmoil around us. So thank you for sharing that.
Welcome.
So as we wait for Daaji, if there are others, if you would like to, share your experience. Manjula ji, I saw your hand up yesterday as well. I know you're looking to ask a question. अगर आपके पास कुछ experience आप share करना चाहें, जब तक Daaji आते हैं, please.
Master is here.
Oh, he's here. Okay, sorry. I was not able to see him on the screen. I apologize.
Not at all. I'm enjoying this. So I decided not to appear. So otherwise, stories will change.
Sure.
Anyways.
Yes, welcome, Daaji. Welcome to the third session. As always, we're very excited to obviously have our questions answered and for you to spend this time with us. We have a number of Abhyasis and heartfulness practitioners who joined us from the US. So I'll hand it over to Uma Aunty to introduce them. और उसके बाद जो हमारे participants हैं जो Zoom पे हैं मैं उनसे भी थोड़े प्रश्न पूछूंगी. तो Uma Aunty, if you want to take it away and then we'll dive right in.
Namaste, Master. Today we have invited ATA and API members. We have our dear brother, Dr. Ravi Kolli, President of API. And we have Dr. Ramohan Chunduri Garu and Lalita Chunduri Garu from, of course, API and ATA. Dr. Shailaja Oruganti and Dr. Nagaraj is on call, so he regrets he could not join you and he conveyed his pranams to you. And we are expecting Dr. Sunita Reddy. And we have here Dr. Satish Sarvepalli and his wife Madhuri. And Dr. Satish is our Kunal Desai's colleague. And we have Dr. Ganesh Loganathan and his wife, Sister Maya Loganathan. And we have dear Debbie and Henry Martinez. They probably have mastered our books, Heartfulness Way and Designing Destiny, more than any one of us. They teach those in their church group. Yeah. You can quiz them. And we have Dr. Alpa Desai that has joined us. And these are all from API and ATA. Thank you, Master.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining. Now let's tackle some of these questions.
Yes, Daaji, absolutely. We have Akshayani, the young girl who was trying to ask you a question and she was in bad network, but I think hopefully today we'll be able to hear her. Please go ahead.
Daaji, I'm Avyakta, by the way. Akshayani is my sister.
Namaskar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. My question was that I'm Krishna's devotee. I want to surrender myself to him. And I want to see him, but is this wish of mine right? Because in Gita he has told that we'll have to surrender our soul to him. So in which case is this wish correct, or should I concentrate completely on surrendering my soul to him?
No, not at all. Not at all. I think we have understood Gita so wrongly when Lord Krishna says, Karmanyavadikaraste ma phuleshu kadachanam. This is one. Second thing he said, Sarve dhamani parityajya mamekam saranam bhaja. You surrender. That's not what he is trying to convey in the way we understand surrender. Like Lord Jesus Christ, when he says, I am the truth. That does not mean that he is the only truth. He is referring to impersonal self, I, where he has no idea of who this I is when he's speaking of that I. He's talking from an impersonal self. So when Lord Krishna also talks from that high level, from that dimension, you see, when we read Gita, we have to understand two aspects of it. Shrama and karma. Karmanyevadhikaraste. You have a right to your actions. Which action? Be it shram or karma. You have a right. But when we are working, for example, you suppose you become a doctor. You have treated a patient. You expect some remuneration. You cannot afford to give free treatment to one and all. Otherwise, you yourself will not be in a position to treat other patients. Right? So there is some, what we call ethically right amount to be charged. So that is legitimate. Now, when I have to go from, let us say, from Hyderabad to Mumbai, I'll have to plan. Right? The Mumbai is in my mind. It's the fruit of my journey. It's my destination. I'll have to work towards it. I'll have to earn money so that I can buy a ticket. Right? So the money is also in my mind. The end result is also in my mind. So when Lord Krishna talks about surrendering the results of your karma, he's not saying that stop having the goal in your mind. You can have a goal, and how are you going to attain that goal? In those times, the karma had a different meaning. That's why two separate words, karma and shrama. Otherwise, if they were both same, then why have two separate words? Shrama is something that we work in our material world with. We earn money. But karma is all about attaining the higher knowledge. I make efforts. I don't even know what my destination would be because the destination is infinite. It is unknown and always receding, meaning I go to some level of consciousness, and when I reach there, I don't know where I am, and yet something else is in front of me. When you go there, then you see something else. So you will never understand the ultimate goal or the next goal. You keep on moving in one direction. You see? So the idea of surrender, when we are pursuing a path of infinity, where consciousness is involved, where lofty goals like becoming impersonal self, renouncing your selfishness, these are all godly attributes. They come under the category of work we call karma. When it comes to shrama, it's all about our material duties. I am working, I'm doing business, I'm cooking at home, or I'm feeding my family. These are all worldly matters. And I have to have my eyes on the goal all the time. Fruit of the action has to be on top of my list. Otherwise, how will you perform your duty in the world? It's impossible. So the words keep changing the meaning over a period of time. Karma is badly understood. Karma means any effort done to fulfill our spiritual endeavor, spiritual dreams. Shrama is worldly related. We have to surrender the results of karma. I cannot dictate God that I want this. That's why the idea of surrender. Surrender is that when I am moving on where I have no idea in which direction I'm going, it is totally unknown. So the idea of surrender, as you move on, you will have some grasp, some intuition that, okay, I'm feeling this. And you will always remain unsatisfied, no matter which station are you at. But the next station will be in front of you. Next state of consciousness will be in front of you. So the idea of surrender is very appealing then. See, in modern day, during our lifetime only, and up to 1967 or 69 or 70, the idea, the meaning of the word gay, it was different. Now, when you say I'm so gay and I'm so happy, nobody pointed fingers at you for saying such things. They were happy. When you say I'm gay and happy, means people resonated with you that you're so happy. But today, if you say I'm gay, it has a different connotation, different meaning. Likewise, karma, the meaning of karma has also somehow mutated and changed over thousands of years. True meaning is this, that anything we do to fulfill our spiritual dreams is karma. And whatsoever we do, we have to surrender the results thereof. While performing my shram, I can expect, while you're studying, you expect that you should have at least A+ grade. Otherwise, you cannot plan better. If you cannot plan better in your studies, and each time you get C and D and negative, then it's no point. So we have to have some idea, some concept about goal in the materialistic world. When it comes to spiritual, we have to surrender to God and say, may thy will be done. I depend on you, my Lord. That's the right attitude. It's just a matter of attitude, actually.
Thank you, Daaji, for that clarification. I think it was very, I never thought of it in that way. So thank you so much for sharing that. I can't be surrendering my promotion to my practice. That I have to work for. But my spiritual progress, I can surrender. So thank you for that.
Well, imagine you telling your husband, my darling, surrender to you.
That worries me. So I'm not going to think about it.
And you'll make him happy.
But Daaji, we have Vasundhara who yesterday was there and she wanted to come to Kanha and वो कह रही थी कि उनकी permission उनको लेना है अपने parents से. So she is here with her mother. So Vasundhara ji, if you can unmute yourself.
प्रणाम दाजी.
प्रणाम वसुंधरा, प्रणाम जी. आपकी माँ का नाम क्या है?
हेमलता.
हेमलता. तो बच्ची को क्यों परेशान करके रखा है?
परेशान नहीं करती दादी.
तो आइडिया तो ठीक है कि ये कोई गलत गुरु के साथ तो फंस नहीं गई है ना, इसलिए मैं समझता हूँ कि आप एक केयरफुल रहना चाहते हो. मैं आपको जानना भी चाहिए कि मेरी बेटी क्या कर रही है, कहाँ जा रही है, ध्यान करती है, वो ठीक है कि नहीं है. आपको कैसे पता चलेगा?
क्योंकि मैंने भी
रोकने से आपको, उनको रोकने से तो पता नहीं चलेगा.
नहीं
तो आप यहाँ आ जाओ, देखो क्या होता है.
नहीं, मैंने अनुभव लिया है.
तो गलत लिया क्या?
नहीं, सही लिया.
तो सही लिया तो क्यों रोकती हो? पर
वो जॉइंट फैमिली की वजह से मुझे ऐसा मतलब
तो पूरे 30 लोगों को यहाँ लेके आ जाओ.
13 के 13 क्या?
हाँ, आ जाओ. कहने सब फ्री फूड, फ्री एकोमोडेशन. आपको क्या प्रॉब्लम है?
नहीं दादी, बट सॉरी.
इट्स ओके. लेकिन आपकी समस्या मैं समझता हूँ. उनको एनकरेज करो. हम रोकते नहीं है, बट फैमिली की सिचुएशन ऐसी है.
हाँ.
है ना. आप जो करते हो करते रहो.
ओके.
है ना. हाँ, यहाँ आने की भी जरूरत नहीं है, लेकिन आओ तो हमें भी अच्छा लगेगा.
आना है मुझे. हाँ, तो वो बात भी सही है. मैंने उसको वही बोला कि मतलब कान्हा आश्रम बोले तो मेरे भी मन में कान्हा आश्रम है.
तो आ जाओ.
तो आएंगे पक्का.
ठीक. जब कान्हा थे तो लोग पागल होके जाते थे. तो ये कान्हा भी ऐसा ही. आ जाइए आप. ये कान्हा आश्रम बहुत अच्छा है.
देखा है मैंने. पूरा वीडियो दिखा है मेरे बच्चे ने मुझे.
हाँ. अच्छी बात है। Anyway,
अगर मैं आपकी जगह होती हेमलता जी, मैं तो कल ही टिकट बुक करके पहुंच जाती। अगर मैं आपकी जगह होती, बहुत कम लोगों को ऐसा मौका मिलता है। दाजी ऐसे आपसे पूछ रहे हैं, मैं आपकी जगह होती तो सच्ची बात है नाइट फ्लाइट पकड़ के कान्हा पहुंच जाती। बट
नहीं,
आप
ऐसा
जरूर
मत
आइए।
करो। Let's tackle another spiritual
जी
question.
जी दाजी।
Thank you.
वी हैव नुसरत जी। नुसरत जी, आप प्रश्न पूछना चाहेंगी? प्लीज अपना इंट्रोडक्शन दे दीजिए और ये भी बताइएगा आप हार्टफुलनेस कब से प्रैक्टिस कर रही हैं। थैंक यू।
Pranam Daji Adab.
Adavatuji.
I've been practicing with trainer Prakash Vyas since last 2.5 years. And Daji, I have two questions. Please answer both my questions because they really matter a lot to me. Question number one, actually, I'm a professor. So I have a very rational mind and I have a compassionate heart of an Abhyasi. And the rational mind and the Abhyasi's compassionate heart, they are always at loggerheads. They are never on the same platform. I've had beautiful experiences, but my heart says, rubbish, stop imagination. So this is my question number one. How do I bring my heart and my mind on the same platform? And my second question to you, Daaji, if you please allow me to go on. It's something that since I have joined Heartfulness, I have realized that I've started absorbing people's pain. Sometimes it's totally strangers. I mean, I don't know the person, but I can feel that they are in pain, they are suffering. And I just sit and pray for them. I don't know why. Compassion is okay, I understand, but absorbing people's pain on a daily basis is leaving me in a state of distress. I get up in the night wondering that uska kya hua hoga? Did she manage to solve a problem? So, I mean, I just want to disassociate myself from this.
बहुत खूब मुबारक हो। जब हम बात करते हैं दिल की आवाज और मस्तिष्क का तर्क ना, voice of the heart and logic of the mind, when they are in sync, it's a perfect marriage. It's, we call eclipse of conscience. They are superimposed. Now, Nusrat ji, when you recall all your past life, whatever has happened ever since your birth, and when you analyze, whenever you followed your heart and saw the consequences unfolding in front of you, and whenever you put a stone over your heart and say, you shut up, let me do this, because your mind is pushing you to do that. Okay, now you compare the consequences under both situations. Does that teach us something? Right? So, when the heart is saying and mind is at loggerhead with your heart, at that time, you tell my mind to keep quiet and find some reasons to justify why heart is saying so. Mind is not our enemy. Mind is just trying to make sure that we don't go wrong. So apply logic again and again. So when the logic and also the impulses of the heart come together, such a joyful thing to do, you see. Even when I do things as per the heart's dictum, but my mind is not convinced, it is still unfinished business. Though my heart says and I follow the heart, but mind still remains at cross. It is still not finished business because I still need to convince my mind somehow that what our heart is doing is correct. So you have to find logic again and again and dissect the situation. and then put an end to it. You see, we should not leave anything unfinished. Okay. About feeling the pain of associates, even unknown people. You are going by bus or a plane, and somehow your co-passenger, you may not be even talking, and it somehow gets to you. The pain just somehow gets transferred, and say, "Oh my God, this person is really, really suffering." It's like when you put your consciousness in the other person's body, when you extend your awareness and touch the other person's body, you feel shaken from inside. And I do sympathize. Now the next step is how to help them. Otherwise, God would not have given you this level of sensitivity. So not everyone has such a sensitivity, because they do wear. I mean, when you go out in the rain with a rain jacket, you don't feel the rains, you don't enjoy the rain. See? Like that, when we, over a period of time, our skin become thickened and heart walls become so thick that no other person's feeling can enter your heart, you are somehow imprisoning yourself and your consciousness. And by not allowing the feelings and not by having that empathetic approach, if you close your heart, somehow you are destroying your level of consciousness. You are again imprisoning yourself, becoming heavier and heavier, and that is hell. दोजक कहीं बाहर नहीं है, दोजक अपने ही अंदर हम खुद क्रिएट कर लेते हैं। जन्नत कब बन जाती है? जब हम प्योर, हार्ट एकदम प्योर हो जाए, सी सुकून मिलता है, and God descends in a pure heart. The heart becomes purer. When you talk of Lord Jesus, Lord Buddha, especially we have heard the recent stories because they are recent personalities. They keep on saying, until the last creature, not just human being, last creature is freed, I will keep coming back. Coming back in the sense they will not come back the way they were. They'll keep coming back in our forms, in Nusrat forms, in Jalaluddin's forms, in Lokesh's forms, in Daaji's forms. They manifest in different forms. Qualities will be exactly like them. Don't hide them, don't mask them. Allow it to flourish. If you are sensitized because of someone's pain, what is the next step? Is to help. See, I differ very strongly from Gandhian philosophy. Mahatma Gandhi is praised for his principles of non-violence, but not good enough. See, you're hearing the dog barking, right? Okay. Some people are ready to take a stick and hit them. Keep quiet. There is violence. Or let me give you another example. What do you do when you don't hurt someone? Somebody is suffering. When you don't hurt that person more, it's also non-violence, no? Not hurting someone is not enough. What can I do to alleviate? Next step. From non-violence comes another stage that I can be compassionate. Compassion is at a higher level than non-violence. In compassion, you see what next can be done for this person. The story doesn't end when you say, I'm not going to harm such and such a person. It's not the end of the story. Next step is what next? How to help the others. You felt empathy. Okay. You felt the pain of others. Compassion says, now let's do something about it. So that's the next step. So I must say, Mubarak ho and खुदा आपको और ताकत दे कि और ज्यादा कर सके. Thank you.
Thank you, Daaji. There's also Dr. Satish from ATA who would like to ask a question. Please go ahead, sir.
Good evening, Daaji. Satish here from Dayton, Ohio. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to ask you a question. I have sporadically over time practiced different kinds of meditation, maybe with a little bit with yoga. At some point, art of living. At some point, I have tried different kinds of meditation, short term during my journey, medical school, exams, boards. I have not able to find a passion or compassion with one particular style of meditation. I have experienced different kinds of meditation during this journey and different styles. I'm not sure what is the best way of it. I've not settled yet. I had an opportunity to work with Umaji and Kunal Desai here in Dayton, but I have not settled completely. Do you have any advice or any guidance in that light?
Well. We try, but we don't attempt. There's a big difference in that. You want to boil water so that you can make tea or coffee or whatever. You can boil vegetables in that boiled water. Only then you can cook, you can prepare tea. When the water temperature reaches 70 degrees or 80 degrees and say, okay, ho gaya, I'm in a rush, I got to do something else, then you'll never be able to boil the water. You're a doctor. You prescribe some sedative to a patient, so and so. Take this at bedtime for your sleep. Prescription is very clear at bedtime. But patient is so enthusiastic. Early in the mornings he takes it. Kya hoga? She'll curse Dr. Satish. Why did you give me this? I'm sleeping all day. Or you give antibiotics, ampicillin, 2 stat and 1 QID. And instead of that, they take 1 stat and 2 QID. They don't follow the protocol, the instructions. How do you expect them to heal? The first parameter of any system is to follow the exact protocol, follow the prescription. Then you see the result. You can always talk to either Kunal, Dr. Kunal, or Sister Uma Garu. I think you have very good people around you who can really guide you. They'll spend a lot of time with you. So practice, to me, more important than all these lectures and talks and all that. Just close your eyes with these trainers and meditate. Try for 10 days. Don't meditate at home. Just go and bombard, be relentless. Tell everybody, I'm coming to your home at 6:30 in the morning and we can have breakfast together and see what Uma does to you. Okay, all the best.
Sure. Manjula ji, आपका question था, please पूछिए. आपको, yeah.
मैं मंजुला बेन जोशी सूरत से बोल रही
थोड़ा
हूँ।
पास में आ जाइए, आप बहुत दूर हैं, आपकी आवाज नहीं आ पा
मैं
रही।
सूरत से मंजुला बेन जोशी बोल रही हूँ और मेरा दादी के गुरु जी के चरण में कोटि कोटि प्रणाम। और मैं आज इतना बात कर रही हूँ, मैं बहुत खुश हूँ, मैं बहुत खुश हूँ कि मुझे आज दादी का दर्शन हुआ। आज आमने सामने मेरे से ये सवाल का जवाब मिला, और सवाल का जवाब तो मुझे कल मिल ही गया, लेकिन आज मुझे अपने दादी के हाथ से मुझसे जो मैं सुनूंगी वो मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगेगा। और इतनी खुशी, मैं 1.5 साल से हार्टफुलनेस में हूँ, मुझे बहुत अच्छा हुआ है। मत बुझा अनुभव भी मुझे बहुत हुआ है, बहुत अनुभव है। आज मैं अनुभव ज्यादा तो नहीं प्रेस करूंगी, लेकिन एक ही मैं करूंगी कि एक बार मैंने भागवत में सुना था दादी कि 1 साल 2 साल जप करते तो शांति मिलती है, 5 साल जप करते तो ध्यान होता है, इतना साल जप करते तो साक्षात्कार होता है, और कई वर्षों तक जप करेंगे तो साक्षात्कार मिलेगा। तो मेरा कितना खुश नसीब हूं मैं कि मैं 1.5 साल में जो ध्यान में आई और आपका साक्षात्कार मुझे मिल गया। मैं बहुत खुशी हूँ, मैं बहुत खुशी हूँ। और बस मुझे शांति और शांति मिले, और मेरी एक ही इच्छा है, बस मुझे कान्हा आने का है, मुझे कान्हा आने का है, मुझे कान्हा आने का है। मैं कान्हा में आके बस मुझे शांति मिले, वही मुझे चाहिए, बस वही आता है।
हमारी तो इच्छा है कि अब आपको कान्हा आए भी ना भी शांति मिल जाए, है ना। बाबूजी महाराज का कहना था, ईश्वर से कुछ मांगना है तो उसके लिए भी थोड़ी चालाकी तो होनी चाहिए, है ना। तो एक कहानी सुनाऊंगा आपको। वो बताते थे कि आप यदि एक महाराजा की लड़की होती और पिताजी से पूछती, पापा जी मुझे 5 रुपया दीजिए ना, तो महाराजा जो आपके पिताजी हैं वो क्या बोलेंगे, बेटे मैं और कुछ मांग ले, 5 रुपया तूने मांग लिया, मैं तो तुझे बहुत कुछ दे सकता हूँ। तो बाबूजी का कहना ऐसा है कि ईश्वर हमें शांति तो दे सकते हैं, लेकिन खुद ईश्वर मिल जाए तो शांति तो ऑटोमेटिक ही आने वाली है, और क्या चाहिए बात। और आपने कहा भागवत का आपने जो इशारा किया था, वो सब इशारे हैं, पॉइंटर्स है, डायरेक्शन देते हैं। वहां की एक कहानी सुनो, जब मैंने बहुत सालों पहले सुनी थी। महाभारत के युद्ध की शुरुआत होने वाली थी, श्री कृष्ण के पास दुर्योधन भी जाता है, अर्जुन भी जाता है कुछ मांगने के लिए। स्टोरी तो बड़ी लंबी है, लेकिन संक्षिप्त में मैं बताऊंगा। कृष्ण जी उनको देखते हैं, दुर्योधन और अर्जुन को पूछते हैं क्या काय के लिए आए हैं। तो खुद जानते थे, लेकिन वो कर्टसी होती है ना, पूछ लिया। तो दुर्योधन बोला कि मेरा हक है पहले पूछने का। तो कृष्ण भगवान बोले पूछ लो, मेरे पास सिर्फ 2 ही चीज है, मेरी सेना है, सब योद्धा है, अस्त्र शस्त्र है, मैं अस्त्र शस्त्र कभी नहीं उठाऊंगा, चाहे मुझे ले लो नहीं तो सेना ले लो। तो दुर्योधन को तो मौका मिल गया है, बोला इसको लेके क्या करेंगे, चलो अस्त्र शस्त्र ले लेते हैं, ये तो ऐसे भी हथियार उठाने वाले नहीं है। तो ले लिया अस्त्र शस्त्र और श्री कृष्ण अलग हो गए। और सबको परिणाम तो पता है क्या हुआ। तो शांति जब ईश्वर से मांगते हैं ना, बहुत छोटी चीज है, कुछ और मांगो, ऐसा मांगो कि बाद में मांगने की जरूरत नहीं पड़े, से बार बार भिखमंगा नहीं होना है। ओके, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन।
जी दाजी, Dr. Ravi, he's the president of AAPI. He'd like to ask you a question.
नमस्ते डॉक्टर गारो।
Namaskar, Daaji. It was a pleasure meeting you at the Kanha and again meeting you here. My question on top of my mind is not about meditation, and I have a little bit more concerns. As you know, the world is divided. Technology has divided us. Even though technology, like we are seeing today, is uniting us, there is technology that's dividing us. Religion has divided us. Politics has divided us. Wealth and opportunities are dividing us. So even the heart and minds are being divided. So how do we bring all this together in this crucial hour of our humanity? I know it's a very deep and difficult questions to answer, but I think you're such a simple, at the same time profound guy. You bring joy and kindness and gentleness in everything you say. I want to hear from you what your thoughts and your feelings about it. Thank you.
Well, the simple definition of yoga is Yajyuti iti yoga, one that joins, one that unites. So perform yoga, not the acrobatic exercises. They are there, of course. Asanas are there. Maintaining our physical health is good. We need that. Even to meditate properly, we need to have good physique. Right? And meditation to me is the only key that can unite us. When I close my eyes and I witness the differences arising in my heart's approach and my mind's approach, only through contemplation and arriving at certain meditative state, I can iron out those differences within me. That should be good enough. I will not be in a position, even if I was God, to unify the mind and heart of another person. So when we talk of bringing about harmony in the world, some sort of unity in the world, unless and until I as an individual bring about this harmony and unity within myself, it's not going to happen. We have seen the promoters of unity, for example, Lord Jesus, Buddha, Lord Krishna, Prophet Muhammad. All of them had challenges, all of them. How many times Lord Krishna was attacked by his own people, by his own mama, you can say, mother's brother, right? How many times in those days Lord Jesus had to face insults and ultimately he had to be on the cross. In his attempts to unify the world, it's not easy. Hear the story of Rabia, hear the story of Prophet Muhammad. Prophet had to run from Makkah to Medina and Medina to Makkah just to protect himself and his people, his tribes. Attacks after attacks. Terrorism is nothing new. It has always been there. Individually, I can bring about that harmony within myself. I cannot expect my spouse to have similar harmony. It will be a dream. So let's not fool ourselves that I can change my son and I can change my daughter and I can impress the world. It's not going to happen. But I can always share my experiences. I can share the practice with others. A lot of love. And if they do it, fine. If they don't do it, I cannot be aggressive. We have to pray. And this common evolution is going to happen. Just like we establish some level of culture. The fashion, for example, fashion culture. Long time back, people were laughing at when you were doing asanas. What is this acrobatic things you are doing? But nowadays, throughout the globe, yoga has become famous. And I am sure one day, meditational practice, especially offered by Heartfulness, will become the voice of every human being. And that's when the consciousness of the planet will change. So we have to wait a long time. But the journey begins with myself.
Understood.
Thank you.
Daaji, should we take another question or would you like to meditate now?
One more question.
So there is Preeti Kumari Prasad from Jodhpur who want to ask a question on day one as well. Preeti, can you आप अपने आप को unmute करें please?
Namaste, ma'am. Namaste, Daaji. Pranam. Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Please go ahead.
Oh, thank you. दाजी एक्चुअली मैं इटारसी से बिलोंग करती हूँ और यहाँ मुंबई में अभी जॉब कर रही हूँ। मेरा प्रश्न ये है दाजी कि कई बारी हम जैसे सेल्फ इंट्रोस्पेक्शन करते रहते हैं एंड वी आर वेल अवेयर ऑफ आवर मिस्टेक्स, आवर शॉर्ट कमिंग्स, सभी मिस्टेक्स के बारे में हमको पता रहता है और हम उसको इम्प्रूव करना चाहते हैं, हम खुद को एक बेहतर इंसान बनाना चाहते हैं। इसके बावजूद मेरे साथ हमेशा ऐसा हुआ है कि मैं जैसे खुद फेल हो जाती हूँ अपनी शॉर्टकमिंग्स को ओवरकम करने के लिए या खुद को इम्प्रूव करने के लिए। इसके बाद बहुत गिल्ट होता है और अंदर ही अंदर बहुत बेचैनी होती है, जैसे एक अंतर्द्वंद सा चलता रहता है खुद के साथ कि क्या किया जाए जिससे हम एक बेहतर इंसान बन पाए। दाजी, यही मेरा प्रश्न है।
ठीक है प्रीति जी, ये आप अकेले नहीं हो ऐसी चक्कर में, है ना। हम सब इसमें फंसे हैं। हम जानते हैं कि ये हमने गलत किया, है ना। तो अपने हार्टफुलनेस में एक बड़ी अच्छे तरकीब है कि रात को just before you go to bed, offer prayer to God in such a way that God is right in front of you, in your heart if possible. Have an exchange that, my Lord, on my own I cannot overcome these follies of mine. I need your help. And I promise you, I will not do this again. That's all. And when we seek help from God, I don't think He's so miserly. We ask for wrong things. When you are really sincere about your need, I'm sure He will run after you. If you walk one step towards Him, He will work, infinity and meet you. So I pray that, this thing happens so soon that you're overwhelmed and engulfed by His love. Thank you. So we'll now meditate, and since we are not going to take any more questions, all the questions that you have, please send them to us, and I will try my best to reply you via email. Okay.
Yes, Daaji.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. And now we will all meditate together. It's not cold, but mosquitoes are too many. Please, let us all meditate. That's all. Best teacher.
Thank you, Daaji. Thank you for a lovely session. And we come to an end of the second season, so to say, of Dil Se, and we'll come back to you with the next set of episodes that we come up with. But hope you all had a lovely weekend, and thank you so much, Daaji, for all your time.
My time is all yours. Thank you.
Thank you.